Hello, greetings. Well, I have to say that it has definitely happened, and winter has descended onto my classroom in the forest. All right, I'm gonna clean up a bit from where we left off. I've been talking about making pizza, because making pizza is kind of fun with your whole family. Talked about how we live in a world that has other people. Talked about that. Ooh. I got some ice on this page. Hello, ice page. Bring that up. All right. Got a plane flying overhead. Got some ice. We got all sorts of stuff going on. Now, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about, briefly, I'm going to talk about photos. I'm going to maybe show a couple of photos because pictures have been a large part of my life for my whole life. My dad was, it's not even fair to say that he was an avid photographer because that suggests that he was merely an enthusiast, whereas in fact he was pretty fine. And what I'm going to do is, the thing I'm going to talk about, I'm going to show you some of my dad's photos and maybe talk about those, or maybe just show you them. And so we'll have a little bit of a section of that. I think Dad was influenced by excellence when it came to photography, or capturing, or having a record of occasion and a record of emotion. And I think he was caught by really a lifetime of learning. He's very much an autodidact, and also influenced by art and excellence. That was my dad. Okay, that's important. Another thing I'm going to mention here is I'm going to move it along a bit because it's a tiny bit freezing. Remember the idea that governments don't really spend money in the same way that you and I spend money. A government's responsibility is to maximize the well-being of every single person in the world. And one of the motivators for my doing these videos is that I wanted to kind of lead up to it and explain in as much detail as appropriate the question of, people ask as they say, well, if I can balance my household finances, why can't the government balance their finances? And the answer is the answer to that question is that not only is it not the same, but they don't. They should not be the same. The government's goal should not be the balanced budget. Although, in a sort of a further discussion of economics, then this idea of balanced budget does pop up, but it's not really in any way the goal. I mean, the important thing to remember, if you're only going to know kind of like one thing, is that this idea of this production possibility frontier, this notion of more, the reality that human beings, we tend to want more. We want more for ourselves. We want more for our children. We want to we want to move up this hierarchy of needs. We want to satisfy our needs for air to breathe, food to sustain us, and to continue on with with humanity. We want to satisfy that. And then we move it up, and then we get to these higher order things, which are some intellectual and emotional pursuits, which really is kind of where I'm at. I'm here. This idea that I'm trying to convey is important to me. I think it should be. I understand that it's important to other people, but not maybe in the same way. I mean, most people don't have the luxury of spending years to study these things and then to spend a ridiculous amount of time thinking about them and really questing after it. Okay, but I want to convey this idea that well, our government has a role in our lives, and we have a role in the lives of others, and others have a role in our lives. And there's countless examples throughout the history of the world where this very simple idea has been overlooked and neglected and stepped upon with catastrophic results. Really, really horrific results. I mean, in the 20th century, if you look back on the great catastrophes of humanity, they've happened when people forgot that the role of government and their role as leaders was not aggrandizement, was not empire building, was not stomping on these people over there or worrying for 1 second what kind of farm this guy was having. But the role of government is to maximize the well-being of everyone. Okay, and I can enumerate examples. World War II, there you go. Okay, World War II, woo-hoo-hoo, glaring example. The Pol Pot regime, glaring example. The demonization that led to the 1990s Rwandan genocide, glaring example. But if you're in government and you're not sure what you should be doing, well, you should be spending your time thinking, what can we do to make sure that the resources, the what do we have and what do we know available in our society, are being used to maximize the well-being of everyone. And just to drive the point home, I'm going to draw this curve again because this is important. Boom, 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 boom. This is the production possibility frontier. So this is what happens when you have a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of people and a whole bunch of knowledge working together. Okay, so if you have the scenario where over here we have the government, the leader government, and they're looking at a big pile of stuff over here, and they're trying to think, what should we do? What should we do? The answer is we should use that stuff. Now, but you have to also balance this with this idea of criteria and the unanticipated consequence. Okay. So, and that's happening in the world today, and it's kind of good. So, at a base level, electricity is wonderful. Electricity is great. Burning things is bad. Okay, combustion is bad. Electricity is great. So, all right, but to get electricity working, we need raw materials and mineral resources. And people will say, yeah, but I did a whole video about the yeah buts. Yeah, but what about the mining and the lithium and the? Well, in the pantheon of concern, we want to make sure that our mining is done as responsibly as we possibly can and impact negatively as few people and as little of stuff as we possibly can. But if you compare mining with a petrochemical exploration and exploitation, it's not a concern. Worry about something else. Okay, really, worry about something else. I've refrained from delving into anecdote and stories, but I have a few anecdotes and stories from the petrochemical industry, both firsthand and by secondhand, like the kind of stories that are told inside. One of these stories involves our good friends Russia, and this idea of criteria, and it takes a bit of it's kind of a longer story, so I'm going to not tell it now. I'm going to tease it out. This is teasing it out to say, in an upcoming episode, you're going to hear a story about petrochemical industry in Russia. It involves nuclear explosions, really. It involves giant fires, really. It involves a conspiracy theory, really, and vast amounts of smoke. Okay, and this happened. Okay, now, all right, so if you recall, my name's Bruce. This is my classroom in the forest. If you enjoy these videos, like, in the least, hit the like button. If you really hate them, hit the like button. If you want to tell me I'm right, tell me I'm right in the comments. If you want to explain to me that I'm wrong, do that in the comments. But whatever, let's have some interaction, have a conversation. All right. Okay. I think I'm going to have to be leaving this particular section of forest for a little while. So might be some time before before we get to the next installment. No, that's not true. I'm just gonna forge ahead. Forge ahead. Yes, forge ahead. Okay. Meantime, oh, wow, eh? Holy smoke! It's pretty wild. And the snow kind of does a nice job. It makes things less loud, quieter. Ooh, it's nice. Okay, like I said, my name's Bruce. Thanks for watching. If you made it this far, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Thank you very much. All right, bye now.